Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Life with Patti, and happy Thursday, you guys. So 2 more days and then I get my 2 days off that go just like that. But this weekend I don't think I have any plans, so that makes me happy. Oh, my grandson's coming out on Sunday. My son did text me that today, but he comes out almost every Sunday, so we enjoy that. They stay for about 3 hours. My son visits with my husband, and me and my grandson like to craft and do whatever. So that's the only plans we have for this weekend, and grocery shopping. So we have a nice mellow weekend. I like that. But I am here today with the hashtag Thursday BookTube. It is an open collaboration that is hosted by myself and my sweet friend at my Mountain Home and Kitchen. And we just upload about a book on Thursdays. Anybody's welcome to join in. We've had the wonderful Bobby from Bobby Joe Made This by Hand, and Joyce from Mrs. Peach Thrifty Living. They have participated. I think we've had a couple others participate. And we just welcome you to come in, do a book review, or if you have just a book that you want to talk about, whether it be a cookbook, a color book, a children's book, whatever you have. I mean, I shared in a couple of different videos my Dolly Parton cookbook and her rhinestone book about her that I haven't read yet, but I was excited to get as gifts from my husband. And I'm going to get in and start reading those, but they're big, heavy books, so I have to sit at the table and read them. I can't read them in bed. I could maybe read them in my recliner, but I'm getting excited to start reading those. But today, I am going to do a book review on Where the Forest Meets the Stars. Now, let me tell you, when I first started reading this book, I was going to give it a 3 because it was kind of slow. It just didn't pique my interest that great, but the last 100 pages of it brought it up to a 4. It's not a 5 to me because it didn't hold my interest through the whole thing. I wasn't excited about it at the beginning. It was very slow going. But let me read to you the back of the book, what it says, because it explains it a lot better than I could explain it. After the loss of her mother and her own battle with breast cancer, Joanna Teal returns to her graduate research on nesting birds in rural Illinois, determined to prove that her recent hardships have not broken her. She throws herself into her work from dusk to dawn until her solitary routine is disrupted by the appearance of a mysterious child who shows up at her cabin barefoot and covered in bruises. The child calls herself Ursa, and she claims to have been sent from the stars to witness 5 miracles. With concerns about the child's home situation, Joe reluctantly agrees to let her stay, just until she learns more about Ursa's past. Joe enlists the help of her reclusive neighbor Gabriel Nash to solve the mystery of the charming child. But the more time they spend together, the more questions they have. How does a young girl not only read but understand Shakespeare? Why do good things keep happening in her presence? And why aren't Joe and Gabe checking the missing children's website anymore? But at the beginning, when they first found Ursa, they were checking the missing child's website, and Joe even called the sheriff's department to come out. When she called the sheriff's department, Ursa ran off into the woods and hid because she didn't want to go to foster care or wherever she was supposed to be living. And the cop just kind of played off by it. He's like, well, I don't see any child here, and I can't do anything if you don't have a child here. And Joe was trying to explain to him the situation, and he said, from my past growing up, sometimes foster care is worse than going back to a bad home situation. And so he wasn't real cooperative with Joe. So she kind of let it go, and she kept taking care of Ursa, and she did keep checking the website to see for missing children, which they thought was bizarre because there was never any missing child, posted about this child missing. And so, though the three have formed an incredible bond, they know difficult choices must be made. As the summer nears to an end and Ursa gets closer to her fifth miracle, her dangerous past closes in. When it finally catches up with them, all of their painful secrets will be forced into the open, and their fates will be left in the stars. And that's how they get the title of the book. So, yes, you have, what is it? I think it's 321 pages long. And I would say for 200 pages, it's just these situations with Ursa and Joe going to work and taking Ursa with her, and the neighbor getting involved, and him kind of keeping the secret, but his elderly mother lives with him, and she keeps saying, you need to report the child missing. And then his sister is a busybody, and so she actually calls the cops, turns him in again. Ursa runs out into the forest and hides again. And so this just goes on for, like, I would say at least 200 pages. And so that's what made it slow for me. It was just like repetitive. Okay, why is this child missing? Why is nobody looking for her? It just didn't catch my interest. But the last 120 pages kind of sums up why the child is missing, why reports haven't been filed about the child, and the situation with the child where she was living. So it became a really, really good story at the end. So that's why I say I bump it up to a 4. And I simply don't give it a 5 because the first 200 pages just went on and on and on. And, it piqued me enough to keep going, but it wasn't great. But the last part of it was a turnaround and a punch. It was good. So I really enjoyed it. So would I recommend it to somebody to read? Absolutely. Go ahead and read it. You might not be as bored with the beginning of it as me. I don't read fast, so it's not like some people can sit down and read this book in one setting. That's not how I read. I read, just before bed and on my breaks at work. And so it takes me a little bit longer to read a book. But, and I didn't tell you, it was by Glindy van der Aast. So, anyways, if your library has it or you find it somewhere and you think, I think I want to read it, I would recommend it. Go ahead and read it. I think that you might enjoy it. I did really enjoy it towards the end. So, thank you for tuning in, and let me know in the comments below if you have read this book. And if you did, what did you think of it? Because this is a fairly new book, I think. And if any of you would like to join me and my mountain home and kitchen in this collaboration, just post a video anytime on Thursday, hashtag it Thursday BookTube, and we will try to get over there and watch your video. So you guys all have a great Thursday, and I will probably be back on Friday with Flip Through Friday. So I shall talk to you later. Bye-bye.